Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Time Walk with me. I am the Time Walker and I'd like to give you a gift. Well, the commander of this deck would like to give you a gift. Zedruu the Greathearted is this deck's generous commander. She is a 2/4 Minotaur monk who costs 1 generic, 1 red, 1 white, and 1 blue mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, her triggered ability makes you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. This draw is mandatory. You can get permanents you own under the control of your opponents with Zedruu's activated ability. It costs 1 French flag, doesn't untap Zedruu, and simply gives control of a permanent you control to target opponent. Because this isn't a complete strategy, I chose Approach of the Second Sun as my win condition. This is a white 7 mana sorcery that gives you 7 life and then buries itself under the 7th card of your library if it's the first time you've cast it in a game. The second time you cast it, you win the game. Personal Tutor and Solve the Equation. These get Approach of the Second Sun to the top of your library. These cards either hurt to control, don't matter who controls, or don't help out their controller that much. Alabaster Leech, Ruby Leech, and Sapphire Leech. If any of your opponents are playing any French flag colors, these will make their spells of the matching color cost 1 more mana to cast. The guy at my local games LGS probably thought I was crazy for ordering these. He might have been right. Arjun the Shifting Flame. This Sphinx wizard makes his controller throw their hands away at the bottom of their library and draw a new hand of that many cards every time they cast a spell. I might actually want to keep this for myself since it helps me to draw Approach of the Second Sun, but I also might want to give it to someone to screw up their plans. Bucknard's Everfull Purse. This card gives itself away, so there's no need to spend mana activating Zedruu. Maybe you can also work out a deal with the player to your right so that they don't attack you for a turn in exchange for some treasure tokens. Elkin Lair. Enchant worlds don't care who controls them. They do what they do for everybody. So giving this away just gives me more card draw and 1 HP every turn. I'm calling life HP now. I should call mana MP. Expedited Inheritance. This isn't an enchant world, but it's still an enchantment that affects everyone equally, so you might as well just give it away. Just make sure you don't give it to anyone who can sacrifice it. They might like impulse drawing equal to the amount of damage dealt to their creatures. Fires of Invention. This is kind of a cool enchantment, but since it restricts you to casting spells during your turn and only 2 spells per turn, it might screw over anyone hoping to counter stuff. Helm of Awakening. People will be glad to see this out, and maybe they won't care that you're benefiting from someone else controlling it. Helpful Hunter. Once this cat gives you a card on ETB, it's just a 1/1 creature that might serve as a chump blocker at best. So it can be someone else's chump blocker and part of your card draw engine. Although if they actually chump block with it, I guess it'll die, but whatever. Details. Meat Locker / Drowned Diner. This room has no static effects, only triggered abilities when you unlock each room, so once that's done, you can just give the empty enchantment away and benefit from someone else having it. Mindstorm Crown. People generally try to keep their hands full, or at least not empty, so this will most likely just ping whoever you gave it to at the beginning of their upkeep. Even if they do empty their hand so they can benefit from it, you're getting the same benefit plus bonus HP, so it's a good trade-off. For that matter, you might be wondering why Howling Mine isn't in this deck. That's because all of mine are in other decks. Moderation. In the right deck, this could actually be a good card to use, but this is the wrong deck, so it's a good card to give away. Ornithopter. It's a free flying chump blocker. Who wouldn't want one of those? Runaway Boulder. Maybe this isn't a great card, but I like that it does something when it ETBs and then just sits there begging to be given away. You can cycle it if you really don't want to use it. Sands of Time. This complicates everyone's untapping and does it symmetrically, so you don't have to be the one who controls it. Get rid of it. Sky Scanner. This gives you a card and then just sits there as a weak flyer, so let it be someone else's weak flyer. Steel Golem. This stops its controller from casting creature spells. And Weapon Rack. Once you get all the counters off this and onto your own creatures that you plan to keep, it's useless, so give that empty Weapon Rack away. These creatures all have defenders, so you might want to keep them for your own defense, or you might want to give them away and not worry about being attacked by them. Coastal Bulwark. You might want to use this wall's surveil ability, or maybe someone else will leave you alone because you gave it to them. Consulate Skygate, Excavated Wall, Gleaming Barrier, Primicon Sky Rampart. This really disrupts people's combat plans, but it doesn't matter who controls it other than being able to block flying creatures. Red Rock Sentinel. It's unlikely that people will want to use this golem's ability. Shield Wall Sentinel. This gets you another defender creature into your hand if you want it, and then it just sits there. Shire Scarecrow. And Walking Bulwark. This can basically become a 3/3 until end of turn for 2 MP. Since you'll want to get your win condition as soon as possible, I put a lot of draw cards in here so you can sift through your deck for it. Amass the components. Anticipate. Behold the multiverse. The scry on these spells is good because if Approach of the Second Sun isn't one of the cards you look at, you can dump them to the bottom of your library and be that much closer to it. For the purposes of digging for the Approach, it basically says draw 3 cards. Compulsion. Discover the impossible. 3 MP to draw 5 cards is an unbelievable deal. Emissary Tome. If 5 MP for 2 cards every turn seems like a bad deal to you, give this artifact to someone else and take the extra card and HP during your upkeep. Fact or Fiction. This is 4 MP for 5 cards, and if the Approach is among them, your opponent can feel like it's their fault for giving it to you. Impulse. Into the Story. Lore Seeker's Stone. If your hand starts getting a bit empty, this artifact fills it up cheaply. Lorien Revealed. Opportunity. Opt. Preordain. When you're looking for one particular card to win you the game, this card is Ancestral Recall. Scour All Possibilities. And Unexplained Vision. If you make sure 3 of this card's 5 MP cost is blue, this card basically draws you 6 cards. Dungeon Map, Hedron Archive, Magnifying Glass, Manolith, Mind Stone, Phyrexian Atlas, Seer's Lantern, Sisay's Ring, Sky Diamond, and Soul Ring. Haven't done that one in a while. Nothing too exciting in here, just rocks, you know. Alchemist's Gambit. If you've already cast Approach of the Second Sun once, and you know you can dig through the top 7 cards of your library and get it and cast it again, if you have just one more turn, this can give it to you cheaply. Bizarre Trader. This goblin works with Zedruu to put more of your cards into the hands of others. Dax Duplicate. It's always good to have a clone in any deck that includes blue. Glint. This will help protect Zedruu from an assassination attempt. Modify Memory. Either trade creatures with an opponent or make 2 opponents trade creatures and get 3 cards closer to your win condition. Propaganda. This helps protect you from assassination attempts. And Stitch in Time. Maybe you'll get an extra turn, maybe you'll get nothing. I kept this very simple so you can expand it as you want to. Islands, Mountains, and Plains, Temple of Epiphany, and Temple of Triumph. And that's it, my new and improved Zedruu the Greathearted deck. Give me all of your thoughts, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, healthcare is a human right.